The four founders of the club are Moses McNeill, his brother Peter, Peter Campbell and William McBeath. And as kids, they befriended Tom up in Gairloch Head, and we've got wonderful race reports of the boys who went on to form our club racing against each other, and one wonderful report of Tom Vallance carrying a small Moses McNeill over the winning line.
In 1871 he was recorded as an apprentice civil engineer. When he moved to Glasgow he got a job in the shipyards as a mechanical engineer, but also when he moved to Glasgow, developing his love for athletics and sport, he got involved with the McNeill brothers in the formation of Rangers Football Club.
His influence on and off the field was absolutely significant, and indeed it was probably more than one or two of the boys who, for various reasons, some of them tragic, weren't able to have an extensive relationship with the club throughout their life, but Tom did.
He was 6'1", 6'2", 12 stone, a fairly formidable guy. Now at that time people would have been 5'7", average height, adult. So he was considerably bigger than a lot of other people, very athletic. And so that athleticism came through in his early performances. He was a defender, played full-back. So he was the kind of guy who would mop up things very quickly. He was a very important character to the club, and to an extent that they also then made him a captain, the captain of the club shortly after he joined. I think that one of the great things about Tom Vallance was he did see the club develop. He saw through the Wilton years, obviously, and into Bill Struth's management. Bill Struth came on in 1920. He saw the main stand at Ibrox being constructed as well. And importantly, in 1899, when the club had to move from what was known as Old Ibrox to New Ibrox, Tom Vallance was actually an assistant to William Wilton during the whole construction phase. So he saw the club grow really in every facet, from the size of the support, the importance of the club, and also in terms of the stadium, to have such a wonderful ground as well.
Tom died in February 1935. At the time of his death, Rangers had won 13 of the last 17 league titles. They'd won 4 of the last 7 Scottish Cups. And twice in the last 5 years they had won every trophy that they had entered, the first team had entered. They were the absolute dominant force in Scottish football. Plus, they had built and modernised Ibrox, put the main stand on it. They had a stadium that held 100,000 people. They were the biggest club in the country, the most powerful club in the country, the most successful club in the country. There's absolutely no doubt he was incredibly proud of that. And if you look at, of all the founders or those at the start of the club, he was the one that stayed part of the club for the longest.
And I think it was fitting that when he was laid to rest, it was James Bowie, the club chairman, who had one cord, and his old teammate James Tuck McIntyre had another cord as well, as they lowered him into the ground, and Bill Struth and other legendary football figures from the time and previously were there as well to pay his respect. And I think it's something that that I find quite fitting as well, is that where he's buried in Bearsden, it looks down over the Rangers training ground. So I think that it's quite poignant that in the modern day, Tom Vallance still continues to cast a paternal glance over the fortunes of Rangers Football Club.